Out of all the teams Valve currently houses, Steam is, by far, doing the best job. Over the last month, Steam pushed out 5 major new features, grouped with a few larger leaks, making a separate Steam Ketchup series a necessity. First, let's get the leaks out of the way. In early August, I was sent strings from the Steam Translation Server, pointing towards unreleased features further in development. One being the return of flash sales, and the second being an official Steam rating system for games, like if the ESRB evolved over time. In more detail, the return of flash sales appears to give developers more flexibility in administering sales, allowing for the time period to be changed between 6 and 12 hours in 2-hour intervals. This is coupled with the classic sale feature, voting on specific sale items, along with just giving developers the ability to have games on sale for a whole week. As for the rating system, this appears to allow users to block certain content from appearing in their Steam store, with fine control on just how much of a specific type of content is acceptable, with categories reading nudity or sexual content, contains some nudity or sexual content, frequent violence or gore, contains extremely violent or gory content, strong sexual content, contains sexual content that is extreme, descriptions of non-consensual sex, with a few variations described as partner and user. That said, it remains to be seen how Valve plans on rating each piece of content that comes through the store in enough detail to allow the rating between some, normal, and extreme to exist. These two features, being on the Steam Translation Server, seem to be coming sometime soon due to their need for translation back in early August. Next is likely the most important piece of Steam content happening this month, the evolution of Steam Play and the introduction of Proton, a Valve-made piece of software that allows non-Linux builds of game to run within the OS without a need of single installations of Steam for each game. Proton, being open sourced by Valve, has exploded in support for Linux, going from the 27 official supported games in the blog post to over 1,000 unofficially supported yet completely playable games on Linux in less than a week. Now, for those interested in experimenting with this, there is a website where you can report your compatibility with any titles and help build towards a Proton database. This is huge, and likely will go down as one of the most important moves made by Valve in diversifying the gaming platforms. There is a lot to say when speaking of Valve's possible motives in supporting Linux, but to quickly sum up, the smaller the market share of Windows, the better, due to the open nature of Linux and the possible hostility Microsoft has towards Steam. Remember that Pierre-Luc Griffet has stated that although Steam machines were pulled from the storefront, the future of SteamOS, associated Steam hardware, and most importantly, the living room space is still a focus at Valve, and this move solidifies that. SteamOS has received updates since its initial launch, and remember, it's Linux-based, greatly expanding the library of games on that OS essentially overnight. Valve is working towards something, and I'm excited to see what this hardware, operating system, and Linux work will lead to. As for Steam Link, from a personal perspective, I've recently plugged the old box in, and I was greeted with 13 required updates. It had been a while since I'd last used it due to its connection problems and unusability with Wi-Fi. I was surprised to find that after these updates, on a 5 GHz network, it worked perfectly. I've been using the Steam Link itself a lot this last month, and it makes sense that the software has improved. The team recently placed a lot of effort into the Steam Link app, a currently exclusive Android application that gives mobile devices the same functionality, and it also works beautifully over 5 GHz. On the 23rd, the ability to use mobile devices' touchscreens as a controller was added, allowing for mouse and keyboard control through on-screen buttons. Any game can be played to some extent now on the touchscreen, and games like Civ and FTL play amazingly. Now, if only Apple could get off their high horse and just let the app on iOS, I could use my iPad to play Honey Pop. Mr. Cook, please. Let me live my dream. Then, SteamTV. Holy crap, if I had $1 for every person that told me about friggin' SteamTV, I wouldn't have to go to school anymore. SteamTV is a platform with an incredible amount of potential and many unanswered questions, and many people making assumptions. The SteamTV website was used to broadcast the main event of TI8, incorporating Steam broadcasting and the new Steam chat, allowing for groups and chat tabs to watch the broadcasts privately, and allowing for a live chat that uses Steam emotes and chat features. Now, this sounds enticing. However, as of now, there is zero information on further use of the platform, and there is definitely not any information on Valve attempting to take on Twitch's massive market share. That said, one could imagine a system where this would allow for much larger flexibility, freedom, and income to live content creators, as Valve's hands-off nature could both help and hurt the success of this unconfirmed endeavor. Lastly is the introduction of Steam's franchise pages, currently being experimented on with the Half-Life series, this is a page that will allow developers to create pages identical to their own studio ones for specific game franchises. This feature is stated to be tested many times all over the page, however it seems to be coming along. What's more interesting about this story is the Half-Life franchise secret Steam group that Alden Kroll, Steam UI designer, had to create. The discovery of this Steam group led to the discovery of many others connected to Valve employees. Most importantly, Hotfish, a group dedicated to reviewing Steam games with fish in it, and Giveaway Test, a basic Steam group that appears to be what it's named for. The first public announcement on this group, however, has a link to this image, the balloonicorn with the phrase "ultra fun game" just plastered on it. What was this for?